Hello, I recently got in some hot water in one of my YouTube videos because I described a motorcycle as cheap. And it wasn't like a negative use of the word cheap. In fact, it was quite endearing. The title of the video was The Right Kind of Cheap. And the people that threw the hot water at me, well, it wasn't the motorcycle manufacturer themselves. It wasn't even the PR team that look after the motorcycle manufacturer. It was YouTube viewers. Because what I did was I described a motorcycle that cost £5,999, a brand new bike, as cheap. And, well, apparently, a few people on the internet think that a motorcycle that costs £5,999 is not cheap at all. And I'm a bad person for saying it was. In fact, I made one person very angry. He actually wrote that in his comment. Bless him. Anyway, this is an adventure bike. It's a brand new bike, and it's got quite a lot of things as standard. In fact, if I just pull my little mobile telephone out of my pocket, I'm going to tell you about some of the things that it has. So on this bike, we have got a twin-cylinder engine, we've got Nissan brakes, we've got KYB suspension, we've got Metzeler Torrance knobbly tyres with spoked alloys, which are really cool. We've got switchable ABS and traction control settings, we've got daytime running lights, we've got fog lights, we've got LED lights all round, we've got TPMS sensors, we've got charging points, and we've even got a built-in dash cam. It's quite a lot of stuff. I'm also just going to talk about the price of some other adventure bikes before I tell you how much this adventure bike is. For that, I need to just refer to my phone again. A Honda XL750 Transalp is now £9,900. A Yamaha Tenere 700, that's now a smidge over £10,000, and a Priya Touareg 660 is the same at £10,500, and a KTM 790 Adventure, yep, that's also £10,000. And if we're jumping up a little bit to the big leagues of adventure bikes, a Honda Africa Twin, that's now £16,500. A Ducati Desert X, that's going to be somewhere between £15,000 and £20,000, depending on your trim and options that you go for. A BMW R1300 GS Adventure, yeah, ready for this one, £18,000 to £25,000, depending on trim and options. And if your lottery numbers came in recently at the weekend, then you'll be pleased to know that the new Multistrada from Ducati could cost you anywhere between £16,500 and £32,000 for an adventure bike. Now this adventure bike, with all of those things I just mentioned that come as standard, it's not that much. It's, as you might have guessed, it's £5,999 plus on the road prices of about 200 quid. So £6,200 for all of this. Hello, my name is John Marcar. You're watching Driven, and this is the Voge DS625X. And in this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things that you might want to know about it. Voge is part of a larger Chinese motorcycle manufacturer called Longqin. They're also known as Viper motorcycles or Katana motorcycles elsewhere in the world. But before you dismiss this as just another budget Chinese motorcycle maker, it's worth me pointing out that the brand Longqin or Voge have actually already produced quite a lot of parts and components on bikes that you're probably already quite familiar with. Have you heard of that little known manufacturer? They make cars and motorbikes called BMW. Yeah, well, let me just give you a little list of motorcycles here, including the F750 GS, the F800 GS, the F850 GS, and the new little funky scooters, the C400X and the C400 GT. Yep, you guessed it. All of the engines in those motorcycles and scooters are made by Longqin, these guys. That's pretty cool. Well, prepare to be pleasantly surprised because, well, come and have a look at this thing. It's put together really, really well. And when I say really well, I mean not only look at the components that we've got, but look at welds. That's always the giveaway. Come and look at these. We've got good welds there. Nothing's kind of like untidy or scrappy. Also look at the exhaust system and the actual engine assembly, as we would expect that to be pretty good. It is pretty good. This whole thing is put together really, really well. And even out on the road, it doesn't rattle or vibrate or do anything weird. Nothing feels loose or unstable. It's a well-built, good quality motorcycle. Okay, yeah, well, admittedly, this bit is a little bit confusing because with a name like DS625X, you would probably expect it to be a 625cc engine, except, well, it's not. It's a 581cc engine. And this is actually a refreshed version of the previous 581, except it's got a new crank. So this new engine produces 63 horsepower at 9,000 RPM with 57 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. And the bike will happily sit at motorway speeds and beyond without feeling like you're wringing its neck, which is good. Well, yeah, in a way, it is quite similar, certainly in terms of the way that it looks, its size, its price point. It's not a million miles away, but in my opinion, this is slightly better. And the main bonus is, of course, the twin-cylinder engine. The Himalayan is only a single. And with the twin, it rattles along the road a little bit better. It's a lot smoother. It's better way for things like motorway journeys. It also sounds a bit better as well. Case in point. Strong. And it also comes with quite a bit more standard equipment than the Royal Enfield. And more on that now. Yeah, it does. In fact, for 6,200 quid, which is the price on the road, all taxes, everything paid, you get loads of stuff and like really good stuff. So, starting from the top, beautiful colour TFT screen. You get quite a nice illuminated switchgear, which is brilliant for riding at night time. You get two options for charging. You've got a USB cable here. You've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter plug-in there as well. We have got daytime running lights. All the lighting is LED. In fact, if I turn on the hazard lights, you'll see that even the LED indicators do this nice little animated feature. There's also a really cool startup procedure with these LED headlights, which is completely unnecessary, but it looks cool and we like that. We also have fog lights. They're as standard. We've got ABS as standard. We've got traction control, which you can turn on and off as standard. You can do the same with the ABS as well. We have a centre stand as standard. We have a sump guard as standard. We've got a rear luggage holder. That's as standard. If you want to opt for additional luggage packages, you can do that. And guess what? It's only 700 quid, and that will get you big aluminium side boxes and a top box as well. What else have I forgotten? Anything? Probably. Yes, there is something else. A dash cam. More on that in a bit. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Perhaps it's not really fair comparing a £32,000 Ducati Multistrada RS with a £6,200 Chinese adventure bike. However, the point that I'm trying to make here is that recently I found far too many people wanting to buy adventure bikes, which is absolutely fine. I'm a massive adventure bike fan. And for some very occasional green laning, read it as never, some commuting, the occasional Sunday ride, people feel that they need to go out and spend £15,000 to £25,000 on a motorcycle. And well, this bike at £5,999 plus on the road prices, well, this proves that you don't need to do that at all. Okay, fair enough. There are a few things of note, but nothing that I would deem as a deal breaker with regards to complaints. Firstly, the traction control as a road setting, it can be a little bit oversensitive. Now, it's not oversensitive in the sense of it's interfering, it doesn't cut power in a horrible way like some traction control systems do, but if you're powering out of a corner, sometimes you can see the traction control light flashing. So a lot of times, for me, on the road, I've just turned it off, and I find that that makes life a little bit better. Now my other point as a negative is not so much a negative, but just again another cautionary. It's regarding the ABS. So like the traction control settings, you can turn the ABS off, but in doing so it will deactivate both the rear and the front simultaneously. There is no rear only off option on this bike. So if you're a new, perhaps slightly inexperienced rider, you might want to just proceed with caution when deactivating the ABS, especially if you are riding on the road. And then the last point, again sticking on the theme of brakes, the brakes are okay, but they are okay. They're sufficient, they get the job done, but occasionally, especially the front brake, it can make the bike feel a little bit heavier than it is. It is only 203 kilos, and yet there are times where I've hammered on these brakes and things have felt perhaps a little bit slower to stop than I'd have otherwise liked. But you do get used to it, and in my defence, I have just got off of a £30,000 Ducati Multistrada V4S with Brembos, so it's probably more my own personal tuning rather than anything wrong with this bike. Oh, and actually, I've just been reminded of one other slight negative, and that's the service intervals on this bike. They're actually remarkably short. I think it's around 3,200 miles. I'll confirm that on the screen. But service intervals every 3,000 miles, that is quite brief. And yeah, okay, maybe a bike at this price bracket, you might want to just get on with the work yourself. That's fine, but you might struggle to find any YouTube or workshop manuals or tutorials on the Voge because, well, they're quite new. Don't think there's a Haynes manual of one just yet. Oh, look, a green lane. Well, better than you might expect, actually. The seat is actually only 835 millimeters off the ground, and it's not adjustable. And I initially thought, as a 6'1", 186 centimetre tall person, that might mean it's a bit low, but it doesn't mean it's a bit low at all. In fact, it works quite nicely. It's actually very similar to the Ducati Multistrada 1260 Enduro seat height, where your knee, once on the foot pegs, is quite right angled. So it's quite a comfortable place to be. The seat itself is also very comfortable. So no complaints there at all. It's especially good, actually, considering that I am a 90 kilo bag of mass. Well, yeah, funnily enough, I've actually been enjoying this off-road quite a lot, and it's a really impressive thing. I've got a lovely setup for off-road, including a lovely big 19-inch wheel up the front, which is ideal for navigating the larger lumps and bumps. There's a smaller 17-inch wheel at the back. That keeps everything stable for when you want to slide things around a little bit. And then, of course, the suspension, KYB, that's fully adjustable up front and at the back, so you can adjust things like bump and rebound. And of course, as I mentioned, you can turn off the traction control settings and the ABS settings. But all in all, can you ride it off-road? Yes, you can. Is it good? Yes, it is. It's wonderful. Yes, really, an actual dash cam. I'll show you what I mean as well. It's right at the front up here. So if I lift up this adjustable screen, you will see hiding underneath is a little 1080p HD camera. Now the idea is it's not supposed to be an action camera. It is very much a dash cam, and what it does is it records in 60-second loops to a tiny little box that sits in the back of the bike under the rear seat, and then you can pair an app with that little black box in your phone and watch riding footage. So in the event of an accident, in the event of something untoward happening, you can quickly go into the app and get that 60-second loop of what's happened. But it also does something else very clever, and that is if your bike is just left alone, parked up at night time, and some absolute rotter comes along and tries to steal your bike, with even a tiny bit of movement, what happens is that starts recording not only video but audio as well. So you can hear what the little rot bags are saying when they go, oh no, he's got one of them light locks fitted and I can't steal it. But that makes it quite cool. So, what do you think of the Voge DS625X? I don't know what any of those things stand for, by the way. I'm just going to make that very clear before anyone asks. But perhaps there is something that you would like to know about this bike that I've maybe not mentioned. Well, write it down in the comment section below, and I'll do my very best to reply to every single question or point that's raised to either give you the answer or a bit of an opinion. I'd also like to know in the comment section what you think of this bike. Is this a bike, now that you've seen it, one that you might consider over the likes of the Himalayan 450? For me, this is a definite winner. I think this is genuinely a much better bike. And in fact, Henry on camera just a second ago said, well, would you choose one over the Himalayan? I would. I would choose this. And it's no secret, I'm a big fan of the Himalayans. But if there is something else you'd like to know, let me know in the comments below and I will come back to you as quickly as I possibly can. Whilst you're here, don't forget, you can subscribe if you want to. Subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification. You'll be notified of when the next video gets uploaded. And the last thing to say is a big thank you. Thank you to Arai for protecting my head in this video. And thank you also to RST for protecting my body, both in jacket and jeans and these rather fetching, very cool boots. And that's it. Thank you for watching. More of the same in the not too distant future. As I say, drop a subscribe, why not? We review bikes, we review cars, we even review racing cars now. Yeah. What other YouTube channel does motorbikes, cars, and racing cars? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll subscribe to those guys because they sound cool. Cheers, bye.